Okay. Hello, John. We're live. Okay, let's add John to the stream. And we have no Peter yet. And my camera is frozen. John's gone purple. And,
oh, no, that's definitely the background.
Morning, John. Second. Morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen.
This is going to be a very quiet broadcast because if we both talk, it's because otherwise I think that my microphone's not working.
Well, I'm talking, but I'm talking.
Okay. And it says that Peter's ready to join. Peter joined the session.
Yeah, well, and then it said Peter's left the session.
Right. Okay. And anyway, good morning, Royston Ray. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 444. And John, how is it in Solihull at the moment?
Bloody cold. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you all the way through, even before you re-entered. Peter came up and then just
left
the session. No, well, yeah, we might have sunshine in a bit, but at the moment we've got the heaviest frost we've had in quite some time. Frozen is an understatement.
Yeah, and I've got a signal. Is that your phone or Peter's phone?
The beep bump, that was my phone. It's a sound because what do you call it? I got a message. I will turn the volume off.
Right. Okay. Right. We have one of them this morning. The system is waking up and John's going.
I've turned the sound off, so hopefully we won't get it again.
Right. Peter, if you can hear me, can you leave the broadcast and come back in again, please?
Much as I hate to tell you, you're frozen. Oh, no, you moved, but then you're frozen again.
I've been frozen for a while. I'm just going to switch cameras. Just a minute. So I'm switching cameras. This is one of those broadcasts. Something's going on. I'll try that camera. Okay, so my camera's disappeared entirely, but it should be back on in a second. All things being equal. And all hell is breaking.
I have been backstage for ages.
I couldn't see you, Peter. I can see your camera now. And you should be entering broadcast in a second. All sorts of things. Now. He's now on screen. Good morning. You're here now.
Can you hear me?
How are things in Aberdeen? We can hear you. How are things in Aberdeen?
Cold.
Yes, it's -2 here.
Inexpensive. Hi, boss. We need new tires.
Why expensive?
Hi, boss. The exhaust's gone. Hi, guys. Could you get the money in quick by using the thing that I give you to take out for the credit cards, please? So I can pay the bills that you're asking for. Works 2 ways.
I don't know. My camera's gone alive. It keeps moving.
What's going wrong today? John's disappearing. Sound's not working.
Yeah. Is my camera working?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than the other one.
Good.
Right. So why did you change camera?
He was frosted.
My first one was froze as far as John was concerned. So I thought the best thing to do is actually switch cameras.
Well, I can tell you, I was sitting, according to the system, I was sitting backstage since 5 to 10.
Right. Okay. My apologies. My apologies for that. I saw you in the waiting room, but had no camera. It's weird. It's one of those days. They are making changes at the moment, and things are going to improve. But we are caught in the mix, as it were.
The usual.
Right. Okay. Right. Question: which networking site get popular in the UK than Twitter?
I'll tell you who it is. It's Blue Sky, because they flooded over and some of them are coming back. Wow. What is it?
No. Good guess. It's not Blue Sky. Just a guess.
Facebook. I can't tell you when I last went on.
It's basically about X being overtaken. That's the story. And X has been overtaken by Reddit.
Oh, they've been on the go for ages.
Sorry?
Reddit's been on the go for years. They should be the biggest by now. I don't like it.
Well, they are. I can't get this. It's funky, isn't it? Difficult to use.
I use Reddit when I want some information. Like I used Reddit when we had a washing machine problem. But,
Did you? I've stuck with X, and I just sit and watch, and it's funny to see the things. I'm leaving, blah, blah. So you don't need to announce it. Just go. This is to the leftists. Just go. Bye. Don't need to announce it. It's not an airport. When you go, and then they go, we noticed you haven't deleted your account yet, and therefore, we'll see you're back. Because seemingly over in Blue Sky, right, they're falling out with each other, blaming each other for what was to blame for them losing the election. And they're coming back because there's nobody to fight with. And Alexa, and then what's really upset them just now is Elon Musk might be buying MSNBC because their ratings have went down the plug hole. Down the plug hole. Matt Wallace not getting his 8.75 million. He said he's left. You'll see a lot of people leaving, and wouldn't it be fun if
I've never heard of the bloke you just mentioned.
Who was that?
You said something about somebody like Mark Wallace, was it?
That was one of the chief guys on MSNBC. That's him that interviewed Trump. His father was also a famous host, or whatever you call them. But yeah, so that's what's happening. And whoever I think it's Comcast or NBC News or something like that, kind of want rid of that arm now because it's losing money so fast, unfortunately for them. So it's not over yet. And and who's good at giving us the information is Professor Nez. I've subscribed to him now. I watch what he's up to.
Yeah.
So
he's got he has a job for life, Peter. For life for the next. Yeah, he's just got to follow Trump the next 4 years.
Yeah.
That's it. People go and watch his broadcast. People donate. People sponsor him. he's all he has to do is turn up and broadcast 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it did. I don't know if I actually met him in Blab. I think I did meet him in Blab.
Quite possible.
Okay. Now tell me,
No.
is there a ceasefire with Israel at the moment?
There is a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, but not between Israel and Hamas.
Okay. How did that come about?
The
then?
Israelis are going back to Lebanon, basically arm twisting. Well, Israel have battered Lebanon into submission, removed, which is a polite word, and killed all the leaders of Hezbollah. They don't feel that there's any threat because there's no organization to actually attack them.
Yeah.
There's no need to continue the war. What's your feeling?
Well, if they settle what they do, if you're firing rockets into Israel, expect retaliation. And the intent to live. And I think I've seen people very happy in Lebanon that Hezbollah are gone. And they're going back to their homes. You know?
Now,
Tell you what I watched.
this is
Yeah.
They're going back to homes, but they're blown apart. There are no homes to go back to. The whole
Speak to Iran, they'll rebuild it for them. Speak to Iran, they'll rebuild it for them. They supplied money to Hezbollah, they should surely supply the money to rebuild the country. Well, I'll give you a prediction for the future. I was watching last night a channel BBC 2 program. It just happened to come on, and it was about Iranians living in Britain and abroad, ex-BBC newscasters, political people who had been jailed by the regime, etc. And remember a few years ago in 2019, I think it was, they were out in the streets. The people power were out in the streets, and it was a very, very interesting program. I don't think it would take much now for a revolution the other way. No, I don't think it's going to take much for him to overturn that government. It takes people power, and one of the big things the last time was the workers. The people were working in smelters and steel and everything like that. Never got paid for 6 months. So what they done was says, we're just going to have to go and strike. And they were all out. And the regime were really worried because it's people power. And the regime shot people in the street, a young student, and she became a martyr for them. And it was quite, I suggest you can, maybe it's interesting to look at it. It was on BBC 2 last night. And worldwide, I just think, I think their days are numbered as a country with the regime that they have. That's Peter's prediction. And you know how accurate I can be.
We do, Peter, indeed. Okay, back home again, and one of the diseases which affects millions of people is asthma, and they have been trying a drug, which means that people need their inhalators in the future. So advances are just amazing.
Well, I don't know if I had asthma up until age 14. And at one point I was going to die. One night was that bad. And what they done to me when I was 14, they injected with me everything that I had a reaction to. They gave me needles all up my arm. Still remember it now. and if anything reacted, it would come up in a bump. So I was given house dust injected into me at 14. Now, I never thought I would be able to join the British Army because of my asthma. And I told them the truth. I didn't tell them the first time. I lied, and I went back and confessed. And they give me another medical. And I got in. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I thought that was it. So that's what happened. But yeah, interesting. Wouldn't want asthma again. Horrible condition.
Right. Going over to the Guardian and putting this on so I can actually read the darn thing. Basically, net migration to the UK falls by 20%.
Yeah.
So we've got people leaving, we've got people arriving, the net is 20% less, 728,000.
Yeah, still 728,000. But let me tell you, I had a look at that. I was looking into it this morning from another. Did you know that since the law changed, visas have went down about 86%, I think, because when they came to do a university course or whatever it was called, they could bring their relatives with them. Since they stopped that, it's decreased dramatically. So were they really coming over to do a Mickey Mouse degree and bring the family with them? Or was it to bring the family here all along? That's what I would put to you. That's a big decrease in visas.
Yeah, it's saying over the period, we've seen a fall in immigration driven by a decline in numbers of dependents on study visas coming from outside the EU.
So it was a sham.
Also a number of people. Sorry, Peter?
So it was a sham all along.
Volume.
A sham.
First rant of the day. Just let me
No, it's the truth.
open my volume.
I'm coming to study for a visa. I'm bringing my mother and father. I'm bringing my sister. I'm bringing my granny. Do your visa. Get your qualification. And you either stay here with your qualification or you go. Simple. Or, right, so you got your qualification. Right, go back to your own country now. There's no job here for you. Take your hangers with you. Your degree's over. Pulling the wool over your eyes all this time. I'll tell you what there is a problem with. It's caused a problem. There are no carers. There are no carers. Now, a relative of mine.
Homes.
Yeah, a relative of mine is most of the people that come over to work there are Nigerian, and they're brought over on a working visa for that specific reason.
Yeah.
Or some of the ladies actually go to university and the men get jobs as carers while they're here if they're married. That's the situation.
Well, I've been picking up Phil from outside his work, which is a care home, because he hasn't been able to drive for 3 months. He's back today in his car, although he did go for a quick drive last night as a practice.
Right.
Because he's finished his tablets, so he's allowed, and had the week, so he's allowed to drive now. I can tell you the people coming out when it's shift change are very varied racially. They're all very nice people, but they are very varied racially. And very few of them are locals, let's put it
White
that
English.
way.
Say what you mean. White English.
No, no, I said very few of them locals, because quite a lot of them are second and third generation.
Oh yeah.
But that's only. I mean, I do speak to some of them, so I don't know all of them. But yeah, but that's because it's a really badly paid job, isn't it? I mean, my Phil does caring, and he's got 2 A levels, but he wanted to be in IT, and he couldn't get a job in IT for love the money, and now you can't get one at all. So
can you not get? Is there no? I feel sorry for people like that. I really studied hard, and then have to go and do job.
He went into caring for the summer after he left college. Yeah, on a voluntary basis, and now he's 35 and he's been doing caring since he was 18.
Yeah,
but only the first 8 months was unpaid, was voluntary.
And who takes on this voluntary people? I've got a feeling
they have a thing called Solihull Life Opportunities. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
and basically they provide care for people, meeting rooms and all sorts of things. They do a really great job. And Phil went to work for them, but it meant when he actually got a real job, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean a proper paid job, they'd already got 8 months experience, and they were crying out for anybody with experience.
Yeah. My sister just got a job. She done 2 days training there. Yesterday finished off. She's working tonight. That's how bad it is up here. They're just, I mean, it's a job.
I don't think it's just that up there. I think it's everywhere. I mean, the home Phil works in is a very posh home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a very, very posh home, and purpose built as a care home, not a converted old house, which a lot of them are around here.
Yeah. It's
but they're all young. I think Phil's one. They're either all young or 50s and 60s ladies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Phil's the only one in the middle at 35.
Who
they all work hard, and they all do a job I wouldn't want to do.
I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Right. Bravo to them. But here's the thing. Who's funding that? Is it a charity?
No, it's a it's probably it's a company called UK Care. They're probably one of the biggest care home people in the UK.
So they've got a UK Care.
They bought it about 2.5-3 years ago, but during lockdown it was run by an American company. Which
no, what I'm trying to say,
I think
John,
I've told you that he got PPE like it was coming out of his ears because they flew it in from the States.
No, what I'm trying to say to you is the one where he went voluntary.
Oh, voluntary? Well, there were just all sorts of places. Yeah. Mainly, though, a lot of small bungalows. Yeah.
No, what I'm trying... Who funded...
No. Right. Working for all sorts of people. Some of them... run by the health people, the NHS, some of them private, and some of them run by voluntary organisations.
Right.
But he left and he went to work for
so why should the
Autism West Midlands.
Right.
And he was there about 6 years.
But I'm trying to pinpoint. Why did he have to be a volunteer? Why didn't they give him a paid job?
He went into the voluntary thing because his then girlfriend was doing that. So he went and joined her on the voluntary thing. And her mother was also part of the team that ran the voluntary organisation solo. And that's why Phil got involved in the voluntary work. Also, he's bored sick, It was great to have a 6-week summer holiday when you were young, but later on you got bored, didn't you? So that's
what I'm trying to work out is why should places like that exist for to be volunteer? Why can't they get paid to do that? by the government, for instance?
I can't answer that question because I don't know, and it was years ago.
That's
You
what I
know,
was
he was
trying
18. He's 35 now, so
yeah.
it was a while back.
That's what I was trying to pinpoint. Do you know, a lot of people have stopped giving to the British Legion for exactly the same. The volunteers were out there working away. They've got Jim Davidson and everything. They had a stash of cash sitting there, and they hardly use it.
Well, the British Legion in Sheldon, which is like the next area along from Alton, yeah, that went private when they started demanding all the money be kept centrally.
Yes.
It did not. It was a fantastic place. You couldn't get in the huge car park or anything.
Yeah.
And went private, and it continued to work all right. And then things just went wrong. And last week, the building was sold for multi-million pounds, derelict.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to knock it down and put flats where it is.
We had 3 British Legions in Aberdeen. There's only one exists as a building, right? The other one exists in name. They still, but they use somebody else's club to go to because it was a very good club in the early days. But it's just the whole. So for youngsters that know, the British Legion was actually set up not by the government. It was set up by the people to look after forces personnel.
Our local British Legion that used to host the kids when they walked down the hill from the church, because the monument, for want of a better word, was in the grounds of the British Legion.
Yeah.
Well, the monument's been moved to the road, and the British Legion is a private club. Yeah.
Yes, that's
very nice, super food, but it's a private club.
Well, the British Legion in Inverurie, which is outside Aberdeen, a pub group took it over. No, they've done it up, and I think it's leased to them. The people, and they're on the bar, and they've got groups on at weekends and everything that's bringing in money.
Exactly what has happened to the one down the bottom of the hill.
So the money comes in, but you'd be surprised how many out there. Have you heard of SAFA?
Sailors on, but I have SSA-FA, isn't it? Double S.
Soldier Sailors Army Forces Association. You know, I met them recently down at a function, and they do a lot of work behind the scenes. But I was going to be meeting them, but because of the snow, I couldn't go and have a cup of tea. And I was asking, "What do you do?" And so they do it, and then you've got combat stress, and there's a lot of. But what you do have to watch, be careful if you see people out in combat uniforms in a shopping arcade. A lot of these are private companies, and they'll give a very small. If you put in £1, about 10% of it is going to the charity, whoever they say it's going to.
The most successful traditional thing still going around here is the RAFA Club, the Royal Air Forces Association. But it's a tatty looking place, but it's still going.
Yes. When I did go, it was fully the older generation, and it was a bit of a fuddy-duddy club. And I was challenged when I was playing snooker. I've told you this story before. And the guy,
my old man was a RAFA Club member, because
I always
he
remember
did service in the RAF, so that qualified him.
I always remember saying to the guy who challenged me about being there, I just give him my army number. And I was, that satisfy you now? That was fun to see his face drop. Didn't think a young guy like me would have been a soldier in 1981.
So you told him you went in at 14, did you, Pete? And
another time when my friend, we had our army ID cards. And when we went in for a drink, and I gave him a snooker, guy come up and challenged us, and he was Yeah, and who signed you in this? We just took out our ID cards and says, look, we're British forces. All right, that's okay. I says, no, we're not. Are you staying here? If that's the way you treated us, the way you challenged us, remind me not to join this lot when I leave. And people don't join the Legion anymore. You know?
No, there were like 7 in this area.
Yeah.
There isn't one anymore.
Yeah.
And the British Legion were met inside what was once the British Legion. So they had like a day a week where it was a British Legion meeting in the big hall.
Yeah.
That's gone as well now in Shirley.
And another thing, people don't know this fact either. I'm going to give you a couple of facts. We were encouraged, which I don't mind now looking back, to give a day's pay each year, the whole regiment, to the Regimental Association. You really couldn't refuse, okay? And the other thing that people, if I was to ask you, John, and a lot of people don't know this, as a serving soldier in your barracks, was your food and accommodation free?
No.
Correct.
We've had this discussion before, believe it or not.
Just for any new British Army, you had to pay for your food and accommodation, and that was it. And you were entitled to eat as much as you want. But now they've got pay as you dine. If you want an extra egg, it's 90 pence, I believe, for an extra egg, because it's a catering company that runs it. Right, where's our friend disappeared? Have we got anything to talk about from your area, John?
It's cold. I only joined today because I was fast asleep, and we've been complaining for ages that the and complain's not the right word, but telling the council for 18 months plus that chunks of concrete have been falling off the lamppost opposite us. It's the only concrete lamppost here, but it was on the corner. I think it was difficult for them to replace. But today, at 9:45, and yes, I was still asleep at 9:45, they started taking the top off, and they put a metal top on, you know, like a sleeve over the lamppost with the actual lamp on. Now, they were still doing that for the first 20 minutes of this broadcast, and I could hear them, but you didn't, because my crisp was working well.
Oh, you got crisp again.
I reinstalled it, and I've never had a problem since I've reinstalled it, Pete.
Yeah, okay. It was good, but it was a nightmare. I'm just what's Lamy? I'm just looking at X. You've got to start calling it X, right? Because you don't go Snickers, formerly Marathon.
What's X? What's X? Oh, you mean the former? What?
What's the point of saying it? The name of it is X now.
I was taking the Michael, Peter.
I know. If you went to the shop now and asked for a Marathon bar, they would go, what? Because they changed the name. It's not a
yes, it's a Snickers bar these days. But we fell in with International because it's been Snickers bar in many, many places since its origin. So
yeah. So one of the top things just now is I would seek Netanyahu arrest if he came to the UK, says UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy.
Well, he's obliged to. It's not a discussable point. We signed up to be part of the
ICC.
Rights. Yeah, I'm glad Stephen can remember what we're talking about, even if he's ghosting us. Yeah, and therefore we're obliged to arrest him if he comes to the UK.
Best of luck with that, then.
He won't come. It's as simple as that, Peter. He just won't come. Anyway, when did he last come to the UK? Huh? No. So it's a non-event, really. We're talking a lot about nothing.
What would they do?
I don't think he's going to.
Like before.
Right. Okay, this is one for you, Peter. Als
Yeah.
ik jong was. Als ik jong was. Verstehe?
Ik say again.
Als ik,
Something young.
als ik, when I was young,
I.
or when I was younger than now.
Okay.
When I was younger than now, we used to go to the and have a few bevies in the evening, and then at close we went to the nightclub, and we stayed there till 2 a.m. And somehow, that's how we actually got home. That was the life in the 60s and 70s and 80s, that everybody in the evening went out to the pub, and I remember.
Hello.
Peter's microphone. Nope, maybe not.
Yes,
I'm gonna
he's
mute
muted.
Peter's
I
microphone.
can't hear him anymore.
Right. Okay. Used to at both ends. We used to go to the nightclubs, but unnoticed by the three of us, life's changed. People do not go to the pub in the busiest hour. You know the slug and lettuce, John.
Yeah.
Have you got one? You got one near you? John's
I think
not
there's
listening.
one in the city, not locally.
Yeah. Right. Well, they
I don't go
got quite a
so I
few.
wouldn't know.
They've got quite a few pubs, and they're saying that it used to be busiest between 9 and 10 in the evening. Now, you want to guess what the best time is now?
Straight after work.
No, even worse than that. The busiest time in the pub now is between 3 and 4 o'clock. And
Right.
then people, that we've lost 31% of the nights we had a year. People just don't go out in the evening anymore. A whole change that we don't go
I
out
know a lot of people
in the evening out of choice.
buy 20 or 24 bottles of beer and drink at home these days because of the price differential.
Yeah, but the whole way of life has changed. People do not go out in the evening and weekends. I mean, we used to go and started Friday night, folk club, listened to folk music till 11 o'clock, and then Saturday night we went out to the pub, and then we went to Circulation in Burnley till 2 o'clock. Those days are gone. People just don't go out.
Well, you know I'm out every weekend, Friday, Saturday. Friday, I sometimes say to myself, why have I bothered going out? But it's getting busy, all the office parties and things are on. But Friday can be a disaster. I've seen me going home early. Saturday's a lot busier, but the pub I go to is actually one of the busiest in the city centre. And all ages come into it. It's a good karaoke bar. And when I go out, because I don't drink and I have a drive out on the way in and the way out, the city centre is basically really quiet. And the public and Stevie, I'll say to him, Steve, think you're still lucky you're the busiest bar in the area. Yeah. Because he puts something on that draws the crowd in, and he puts on a bit of music to begin with, a singer, then he does his karaoke, and people come in. So people come and go at 9 o'clock. The girls leave at 10:30 to go to a nightclub around the corner. Then new people come in at 12 and it's open till 2 in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just most pubs, but my city is kind of dead now. Mine used to be a 7-day-a-week city for entertainment.
Food is what attracts people to pubs around here. I mean, I said actually that I hadn't been to a pub for ages, but I went into the restaurant on the side of a pub a few weeks ago. Yeah. But I haven't been in a pub. Yeah. But what is doing well here are microbreweries where shops have been turned into bars.
Yeah.
So we have a few of those around here, and they seem to be quite popular. But they're selling their own beer. They're not selling Watney's Red Barrel, you know. They're showing my age there, Watney's Red Barrel, aren't I?
Yeah. It's just a sign of the times, and alcohol is so expensive. But even people are ordering alcohol from Amazon to come to Scotland because, as usual, Scotland likes to be different and put the prices up bigger. You know?
Alice works in the largest hospital in Birmingham, and opposite, plus a couple of 100 yards, was an extremely huge pub. Can you guess what it is today?
Yeah.
It's a McDonald's.
Okay, yeah. People love their McDonald's.
Oh, but it's providing a service to the hospital where it is.
Yeah.
To the people who visit, because if you want to eat in the hospital, it's a small fortune.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a cup of coffee's £4 in the hospital.
I mean, I'm just thinking what the kids now, right, will be like when they're adults. There's going to be a lot of diabetes going around. Yeah, because of obesity, you know, and bad eating. It's a shame at our stage of life. Everything's going downhill, is it? Or are we just getting too old for this?
It's changing.
Sorry?
Everything is changing.
Yeah.
Changing.
Yeah.
You don't notice everything because we're not part of it. I mean, I thought the other day, what if we asked McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC to UK close all major fast food restaurants overnight and force people to actually cook it?
Not a chance. Not a chance. Then you would have riots.
We don't really do McDonald's unless we've got Dottie with us and she wants a Happy Meal. I do KFC now and again when we don't feel like cooking. Yeah. And occasionally I get pizza, but most of the time it's cook at home time. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we had teriyaki flavored steaks, rice and peas last night.
Okay.
You know, because we're getting more adventurous. Yeah.
I'm lucky that
more adventurous because the supermarkets are more adventurous.
Yeah. Sheila is a home cooker, you know. She'll do batches and she does a lovely thick soup, and she'll make a stew. I don't like stews, but once I eat them, I have more, and I have 2 small potatoes or something with it now, right? And but I don't know, guys. All I do is eat just now. All I think about is eating. I was up during the night and had a breakfast.
That's not good for you, Pete.
No. Just mentally, it's horrible.
Right, I've got my own cooking. I've got my own cooking story, and if I don't now, I'll forget all about it by next week. We know the way it is. Okay, now we get organic fruit and veg, which are supplied by a local supplier, delivered on a Wednesday, and we go through, and it's beautiful. It's nothing like the supermarket. You're getting the best quality, and it looks like you want to eat it. But they publish recipes, and Angelica reads the recipes, and one of the recipes, a good meal, if you want to try it, and you can try this at home if you want to. I did a roast dinner on a Sunday, and I peel the potatoes and I peel the carrots and everything normally as a normal person would do. But this recipe said, don't throw away the peel from the potatoes or the carrots. Just store it in the freezer and do that every week. And when you've got enough, you actually make a meal with it. So I thought, okay, I don't mind. I mean, throwing the peels to the chickens or put the peels into a meal. So we had sednal on 2 nights this week. I can only say I've eaten it once. I mean, basically, you took the peels from the potatoes and the carrots and put a sauce of them and cheese and dressed in. Then you added, plus being German, you added meatballs as well. So it was a good meal, but I don't think I'm volunteering to have a peel meal anytime soon.
Apart from potatoes peelings, which are donated to the green bin, it all goes into my compost heap. We don't put potatoes in there because you can have eyes in the peelings, which means before you know it, you've got potatoes growing in your compost bin, and you don't get anything worth talking about.
No.
Right, so that's my delicacy. I'm not going to eat it again. You guys know I just won't put potatoes.
Are you still eating potatoes, John?
Sorry?
No, sorry, Stephen. Are you still eating potatoes?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a week.
Full of carbs.
No. You could basically, Joey. I try to be good, but in terms of living, there's got to be a balance as far as I'm concerned. I don't mind taking metformin most days, so I'm not overly worried about coming pre-diabetes. I'm managing diabetes as it is, and my diabetic nurse said to me, "Treat yourself."
Yeah.
So I do.
I was watching the guy with insulin resistance, so I'll give you a link of him, and he eats food in your behalf to see what spikes you, right? And so what I'm going to do is, before a meal now, he'll eat broccoli with carrots with a dressing that he's made, and it's amazing. He's then he eats what he's to eat, but his insulin goes up a wee touch and then flatlines with this. So encourage you, and your Queen woman, she popped up in my timeline again as well. About you still follow her?
Glucose goddess, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she says makes sense. And apart from the fact she's trying to sell us all pills, she's doing a good job in helping cope with diabetes. I found Peter, unfortunately, we're in good company, you and I. Certain Elton John has got diabetes.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Is he on insulin?
Yeah, he has to be very strict. Yeah, he can't eat anything with carbs in it at all. He's on a very strict diet.
He's got vision problems, though, hasn't he?
Well,
when diabetes affects two parts of you, if you don't keep it under control, one is your vision, because your eyesight will just gradually get worse, and this is your extremities, particularly your feet. And that if you ignore diabetes, you could run the risk of losing one or both of your feet. So it is it's a chronic disease with those two major consequences. I've just been for a check. I mean, you've got to go for a diabetic eye checkup every year. I've just been for mine. I've got the all clear, for which I'm grateful for. But you're thinking the days before, hope it's okay. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and the stress disappeared, so I'm in a good mood now.
What day is the 12th? What day is the 12th? What day is it?
12th?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm going in on the 12th to see an eye specialist, and I've got a funny feeling.
It's a Thursday, Peter. 12th of December.
I'll have to check it, but I'm going to see about my eyes. They've picked up something. Don't know what it is. I've got a feeling it might be cataracts. I've got a feeling it'll be that, because my right eye's gone. It's a horror. Folk, don't get those that are listening, don't get diabetes. How many people have you met in your life and you say to him, hey, you better watch, you might get, you put on a bit of weight now, and they go, I'm okay. And then bang, have you heard about Johnny? No, he's had a heart attack, found out he's got diabetes. And that's unfortunately how some people find out they've got diabetes. You know, having a heart attack.
That's true. Yeah, that is very, very true. I mean, you can test yourself, can't you?
Yeah.
And go to the doctors as part of your checkup.
I used to be. On you go, Stephen.
No,
I used to be really
Karen.
well controlled, but I've reached the stage that I can't be bothered anymore. When I do get my sugar,
Yeah, but you're going out.
I feel absolutely fantastic. You know, I feel great. But then, what is my life's purpose now? Yeah, I run a business. I don't get much out of it now. You know, I've just said that. You know what that call was?
Yep.
Hi, Peter. Yes, that exhaust burst is going to cost £500 to get a new one.
For an exhaust?
For an exhaust, quick fit. You can do it.
Stainless steel. Is it stainless steel?
I don't know, John. It's just happening. I've got tyres tomorrow. Boss, we need tyres. I says, any chance of washing your van? We need tyres. Get a van washed and I'll give you tyres. You know?
What, a pair of tyres? Because they're worn.
I'm putting in a pair of tyres. And the guy checked them and he said, oh, they'll need 4. The guy checked them and he said, no, need 2. I said, getting 2. This is how strict you've got to be now running a business. It's not what they want. Is it legal? Yes, it's staying that way. Is that legal? No, it's on the border now. Right, we'll do that. Otherwise, you're shelling out money all the time. All the time.
When Celia's car was MOT'd last year with the grand total of 12,000 miles on it, I had to buy 4 new tyres because they were out of date and they'd started to perish.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't pass the MOT unless I changed the tyres.
Yeah. And how's the other thing? I'll tell you right now, right? Right now, I will not get that vehicle out of quick fit until I've paid it. Right? So I'll be saying, Andy, every job you go to, they've got to pay me before you leave with a credit card machine I give you. You know? Because if you don't, it's 300 for them and 300 for them and 300 for them. That's £1,200 that you never got in a day. You need that money in today, not in a month. Oh, I forgot to pay you. All these sorts of things, because I've seen it before. Anyway, is there anything else we can speak about in this time left? Anything nice?
I'm just looking for something.
Okay, well, you're doing, look, I've got a new coffee machine. I've went away from pods. Sheila was doing me nothing, so I'm now going back to filtered
coffee.
Filtered. Yeah. So there's no
So
more.
Once every 3 weeks, the people deliver a bag of coffee beans here for Thomas and his fancy machine at his house. But of course, there's no guarantee that anybody will be in at his house because they both work.
Yeah.
So we have them. He has them delivered here. Like all of the kids seem to have their parcels delivered here, and I hate the smell of the damn things. So I leave them in the porch because I don't want them stinking out my car. I actually was handed them by the post lady last week. And she said, these have stunk my van out.
Yeah. So Do you know what I've started to watch? There's this guy in America, and look at his back videos during the pandemic, right? He went into a shop and well, whatever, and the waitress, he says, listen, could you help me? I just want a glass of water and maybe a napkin. Yeah, I'll do that for you. He said, I'm short of money. And she says, would you like a little pancake or something? He said, oh, that would be great, thank you. And thanks him. But obviously film it. He says, that was very kind of you. He says, here, I've got money. Do you know what you handed over to her? $10,000.
Wow.
10,000. And what happens, his channel's so popular, people donate to him. And then another one, he goes into, he says, how much does that meal cost, what he buys? And they say, $15. He says, could you give me 50 of them, please? So what for? He said, I'm feeding the homeless. And most of the proprietors say, tell you what, have it on me. And
I've seen a number of those.
They're brilliant. I love them, you know. So, yeah, some nice people. Obviously, it's a channel. That's what he does for a living, you know. But it's the happier things I'm looking at the moment. And do you know what I watched this morning? Do you remember the Royal Navy gun carriage competition? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do. On the horse show, the Brovy competition. Yeah.
And I watch Americans watching it, and I had a tear in my eye when the Heart of Oak took the command marching into the stadium. The British loved that. Get it back. That's what gives us my pride. And then I went to what's disappointing now about the last night, the proms. I watched that again with all the UK flags, the flag in the air, singing all the songs that we know. And the Americans are absolutely shocked by it. Young Americans, you know, watching it. And they couldn't believe it, the pride it we had. But now, unfortunately, there's too many political flags coming into the proms.
You can say European, Peter.
Yeah. No, I didn't say European. I'm just saying different ones is there as well.
Do you remember the days of Sir Malcolm Sargent running that? Being in charge of the proms?
I think it was him. I seen, did he have like white curly hair at the top?
Well, he was old, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where we discover that we must be old, because he died in 1967.
Did he? Oh, well, I didn't remember him. Yeah. But the other one I watched this morning, if you want to laugh, all the football champs, the chats, all the football crowds, what they shout to the other team. Even I was covering my ears. It was so bad. The things they said. But British humour, and all these young people shouting, oh, this and that. If there was a war, they would be the first ones to be called up and be united. Never remember that. Never forget that, folks. Because it might.
Whilst we're live, I'm going to try again. Whilst we've been live, Leicester City have a new manager, John.
Oh God! Which one of the three that were put forward has actually been foolish enough to take the job?
And the answer is.
Well, was it Rude? Was it?
No, Frank Lampard. Sorry, Coventry. Coventry have got Lampard, and Leicester got Nistelrooy, aren't they?
I don't know. I have not looked, because I didn't wake up till nearly 1:45. I haven't looked at the BBC today.
Okay, John, over to you.
Can I just, before we go there, somebody tried to scam me this week. Yeah. Well, actually, the scam attempt was last week. Can I just suggest to you that you might like to look at a site called Scamdoc, www.scamdoc.com, and check your own website to see what they think of it, because they give every website a rating. And some of my websites are sort of medium, and one or two of them are quite good. I haven't got any that are rated as scams. So a site well worth a look at. Yep,
Scam. John, just
scam.com.
now. Could you put a link in Facebook or something for me? And I'll click it. Because it
Yeah.
didn't. Please.
Okie doke. I feel sorry for Coventry. Oh well, scam doc. Anyway, so it's from me from here in the very frozen West Midlands, for my mate up in Aberdeen for the really bad end of the weather, and the nice weather down in Devizes from my friend there. Same place, same time next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you a pro streamer looking for some top-notch features to amplify your live streaming experience? Then here's the good news. OneStream Live just launched their Enterprise plan, a powerhouse plan with no strings attached. Introducing 24/7 streaming on YouTube.